How's everybody doing tonight? We've got something new. I know I haven't finished the Roker excavator yet. I don't know when I'm going to finish that. How's everybody doing tonight? Sorry about that. I don't know when I'm going to finish the Roker excavator. I actually kind of a little bit lost confidence in that puzzle. The pieces are really thin, and I think they should have done them in cardboard. They did them in a really thin plywood, and I've already broken several pieces. I might finish it, but it's going to be like the Roker Army field car where, I go through all the steps, but by the end, there's so many pieces that are broken or they don't fit where they're supposed to fit. They're like loose and they're falling out that it ends up being not worth it. So, excuse me, I'm not inspired to continue the Roker excavator right now. So I pulled up something else. A Stallion GT, 248 pieces. This is from Woosaic. I don't know, maybe that's how you pronounce it. It's the first time I think we're seeing a car from this company. It's interesting. Is that the engine? The seat, the tires, spoiler. There's the sheets. So it looks like, 6 sheets or 5 sheets? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 6. And you can see it kind of opens there, so that's why the engine's so detailed. But you also can see a lot of connection pieces, so it's not really the smoothest. It's already painted, which is a little weird. Some people like to paint them themselves. Actually, I don't. So to me, it's like totally fine that it's already painted. I wasn't planning on painting them. I don't usually do that. I'm just looking if I could find the country that this comes from. Kazakhstan. Okay, Kazakhstan. I think this is the first puzzle we're doing from Kazakhstan. Corolette is from Lithuania. U-Gears, very popular, is from Ukraine. Roker is from China. Obviously, Lego. Where is that from? Like Denmark or something like that, or I forget. It's a very famous one. I don't know. I don't know the name of the. I probably once knew, but I don't know. So let's check it out. So Kazakhstan, I mean, it's great to hear. You don't hear a lot out of Kazakhstan. I think in my house, it usually comes up when we are talking about cars when Kazakhstan comes up. And we talk about, by the way, I don't know if things are going to change with this. Some people have been saying it for 20 years. Some people just started saying it this year when they noticed that there's nothing can stop what's coming. They've noticed that there's no restraint anymore on printing American dollars, and people realize that the party's going to be over soon. So America might change its position in the world, but the way it is currently and has been for my entire life is we get the cars first. And then, some of them go to Canada, some of them go to different places. A lot of them go to Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan and a lot of those stands, and they figure out which parts still work and which parts don't, and maybe they fabricate some things, and that's how they make their cars. Maybe some of them they import some. I mean, it's not that simple, obviously, but that's when Kazakhstan comes up. So the fact that my first model from them would be a car is fitting. I'll tell you, it looks really good on this box. I don't know how it's going to look when we actually get a look inside the box. Let's see. Oh, by the way, behind me is Route 66. I think my green screen still needs work. It's something about that doesn't look great. And then in front of me is also Route 66. I feel like the camera's kind of blocking right where the 66 is. So the reason I just mentioned that is last week, visiting my son, oldest son, was graduating USC Business School. And one of the places we went while we were there was the Santa Monica Pier, which is the end of Route 66. So that was a lot of fun. And today, both of the kids the two that are still living here, one starts college in September, and the other is a sophomore in high school. They both wore their Route 66 shirts today because that's what we got them, T-shirts. Route 66, really cool. So, yes, it's 6 sheets, it seems to be, right? I don't see any instructions. That's different. Am I supposed to figure out the instructions myself? Is that part of the puzzle? By the way, this says tool on it. That's the tool. Do the pieces just go in order? If I start with piece 1, wow, they're really not going to give you instructions, huh? That's going to increase the challenge quite a bit. Should I go online and search for instructions? Wooden construction set, 248 pieces. Have a good time. Okay. Let's have a good time figuring this one out. They're really not going to give us instructions, huh? That's good, right? I mean, we need a challenge once in a while. Achtung, der Spieselbergner... Oh, wait, let's read the English first. Attention, for use under direct adult supervision, only small parts, danger of airway obstruction. So don't eat the pieces, if anyone was... No matter how good they look, just don't even chew on them. Woosaic model, 248 pieces, 7+, age 7+. All right, so this is Stallion GT Red. I don't know if they have other. By the way, they have their address here. You could write them. Laser, so it's laser cut. Laser Development LLP, so it's laser cut. 17 City, Uralsk, Kazakhstan, made in Kazakhstan, Aliyah, Molda, Golova Street, 0902. I wonder if it's someone buys a laser cutter, you know, like the town buys one, and I don't know what they're going to use it for, industrial uses, maybe even cars, who knows, but you know, maybe people buy time. Like maybe someone just says like, hey, they design a puzzle and let's get in the laser cutter and do a production run. Maybe, you know, I don't know. I mean, I would do that. If maybe I should find out where the nearest laser cutter. I doubt there's one on Staten Island, but I bet there's one in New Jersey. Maybe I can go there and have a puzzle laser cut. I don't know if I'll do that, but that might be fun. Maybe if we start to get more of a chat community of people chiming in, maybe we'll do one. I think I'm going to need this tool. And before we go off and try to... So there's the tool. Before we go off and try to do this on our own, I think... Let's see if we can find instructions online. So let's see here. I'll just show you for 1 second. I have an iPad here. Here's the iPad. So I'm going to switch to the iPad. I just showed you that for fun, that I have that. So here's in my Google Drive, and I've got instructions of like the last 3 puzzles. Like I mentioned, what was it? Lithuania had this Quallaret. So anyway, I had their puzzle. I actually scanned that. They didn't have it online. So now we're going to search and... we're going to see if we can find the Stallion GT Red instructions online. If not, that could be really interesting because then we're in a position to not only, you know, in the like the Quallaret instructions I scanned, if instructions don't exist, that's very interesting because then we're in a position to actually write the instructions. And if that's the case, I need to photograph all of the sheets, you know, because we'll need that. Like if we're going to create the instructions like from scratch, at a minimum, I need pictures of the boards. And then I probably need pictures of each assembly. All right. This is the Amazon page. That's the first hit. Second hit is also Amazon page. All right, here's Woosaic.com. Let's see if they have instructions. Fascinating wooden puzzles. Well, that's Jigsaw. I just want to show you the name of this puzzle. Ethnic Girl. That's the name of that puzzle. I don't know if that sounds better in Kazakhstanian, but Planet Earth. So they're pretty generic puzzles. Sakura. I think we did this puzzle. We did that jigsaw puzzle. We literally did that puzzle. So this is not our first Woosaic product, but it's our first Woosaic model. All right, so those are the jigsaw puzzles. We want the wooden model, our products. All right, let's see. I don't see the GT. They don't even this website doesn't even recognize that they sell the wooden models. Looks like we're going to be writing these instructions from scratch. Because I don't see anything here. Let's try the Amazon page. Just maybe someone says something about where the instructions are. Honestly, I'm supposed to be writing the review of this, but I'm a little late because 13 people already did. But if everyone's posting saying there's no instructions, then I'll create instructions and I'll mention it in my review. It only has 65% 5-star. What do you think? Is there a real challenge? That's sounding like no instructions, right? My nephew spent many hours assembling this car. He's very careful in removing, setting out pieces. The pieces are fragile and you may need to use some small tools. This car comes in a rather small box. It's a bit smaller than I was expecting. It's well made, however the color is quite striking. I was expecting this to be easier to assemble. There was some frustrating parts for my brother who was enjoyed. I don't see anyone mentioning the word instructions. Let's just search for that. I believe there's a way to search the reviews. Yeah. All right. Let's just see here. Instructions. They don't come in the box. All right. Let's see what people's saying about instructions. Am I searching? Why is this keyboard still here? All right. There we go. No, I wasn't searching. Nothing happened. Search. Okay, someone said, mine didn't come with instructions. And someone else replied, mine has instructions. All right, so some people got the instructions, some people didn't. Let's look through the pictures. There's the box. There's appears to be instructions there. Here, look. Ooh, it's moving around, but can you see that? It moved. Why is it moving? All right, maybe I got to click on it first. No, that didn't work. Open image. Open image in a new tab. All right, let's see. Okay. This guy got instructions with his. So if I could get my hands on instructions, I can scan it and put them online. But at this point, I don't think we even have instructions. So maybe let's check the box again. Start with the box. You saw me take off the plastic. Okay. I don't see any instructions in here. I don't know who on the assembly line was in charge of adding the instructions. You know, I notice when you get these review copies, often they'll give you, the first week I was in the review program, I got an Adirondack chair that you assemble, and one of the two, foundation pieces was cracked in half. So I bracketed it together and assembled the rest of the chair, but that, if they know that there's a box of boxes that's missing instructions, they probably end up in the review pile, which is stupid because you would think the reviewers would want them to have good copies, but it might be a situation where they're well, we either throw this away or we give it to reviewers. But if the reviewers are all going to say the instructions are missing, that could be a risky thing to do. All right, so there's no instructions here, right? I mean, we're all agreed there's no instructions here. Do you think we could assemble this without instructions? I think it's a lot to ask. We'd really be, I mean, look at these connector pieces. There's a lot going on here. Well, there's not too much. I mean, there's the connectors. So like 4 of that size connector, 3 of this size connector, 5 of this size. Is this a connector? I don't know. I think it can be really dicey to try to do this without instructions. I'm not going to buy a second one to get instructions. If someone else did this, maybe they posted the instructions. Let's try the website again, just because we didn't quite get to... By the way, there's some ink on my fingers. I don't know what is on these sheets, but something. All right, I'm going to go back to the instructions. Yeah, okay. These are the instructions. It looks like a live shot, but that's a computer. Okay, so that was confusing me. I couldn't find it to switch to the video. So I called it instructions, but actually we're just going back to the web because we're trying to find the instructions. This one is not made from plywood, but fiberboard. Yeah, I noticed that. It's painted and comes with assembly pamphlet with pictorial instructions. Now, is it possible that we can read the instructions from this guy's pictures? Let's try. Let's give that a shot. I don't know if he, I don't know if he made pictures of all the pages, like, is this page 1? Well, this is what we got. So this is what we're going to do. So some guy took a picture of his instructions. It's probably not the best picture ever, but boom. That's what we're going to do. So these, I set the scoreboard up saying panel and piece, but these actually don't have panels. They have pages. I think that's the easier way to follow that. So I'm going to change the scoreboard a little where it says panel. I'm going to change and have it say page. And then we're going to get started. I tell you, it's going to be really tricky without those instructions. But, we'll get it done. All right, so page 1. It looks like there's 4 pieces. We're going to do 4 pieces right now. So those 4 pieces are 30, 31, 32, and 3. So 3, it's right here. I'm just going to check something here. Okay, yeah. So that's piece 3 right there. So that's where we're going to start with. I don't know how we're going to do this without instructions. Am I like being too confident even attempting this? By the way, they give you a tool here. I don't know how good this tool is going to be. Before we get too far, let's talk about the fiberboard. Yeah. Fiberboard. I don't know. Is that Formica, cardboard? What do you want to call that? basically it's not plywood. It's, as they say, fiberboard. So the tool has, for punching things out. I'm not sure what that's for. I guess we'll find out. So I don't think we count the tool as a piece. So we now need 30, 31, and 32. So here's 30. So probably whatever we're doing here, we're going to do like the mirror image for the other side. And that's already going to explain some of these clips that we were worried about. So 30, 31, and 32. These clips, if you can see them, I mean, look at this one. There's like an inlet. There's an inlet. There's two symmetric pins, a third pin up here. All of them are barbed. And there's 1, 2, 3 levels. So that means it's probably going to go through like 3 boards. And then it's going to hook into 1 or 2 other, and then it's going to have something that hooks into it. So this is a fairly complex pin. And this one is a little simpler. We got a trapezoid with 1 pin and 1 inlet in the center. And look at the length on this pin. And it's got multiple levels and a long inlet and a pin on the other side. So these are pretty complex fasteners, pins, whatever you want to call them, which means they go through multiple boards and they accept boards. I mean, this is all just me saying without these instructions, this is going to go really slow. Maybe someone out there in chat world has the instructions and they could point me to them. But until such time, we're going to just try to get this done as best we can. All right, so taking the instructions from the post that we found online, it looks like we're going to put the painted side like out, and the 30, it goes here, and the 31 goes right below it. And then the other piece, the 32, it's going to hook into the 31. Let me tell you something. This fiberboard is effective in... Oh, man. This needs to hook into here. I didn't see that coming. I would have put that... I would have put this in before I clicked the other one in. Anyway, I was going to say this fiberboard, it's... it clicks in pretty good. Although now we got to pull this one out because we didn't anticipate that. We should have. I mean, there's the hole right there. We should have anticipated that. Anyway, we'll get it in there. You know what? I want to do the whole thing together. I want to put it together and then put it in. All right. So we've got the whole thing assembled, right? And now we're going to stick it in here. How about that? Oh, man. I am so far liking the fiberboard. Why does U-Gears do plywood? This is so much easier. You know how many times I'm like fighting with that U-Gears? I think they do the plywood, the pieces to get them in there. They like won't squeeze in. I think they do the plywood to make them stronger, because this kind of feels like cheap cardboard, honestly. But it's not cheap cardboard, and it's very easy to slide the pieces in. So I think it's working pretty good so far. All right, let's see what's next. Can we see what's next? I guess this is next. All right, so, ooh, this has a 3. No, that's piece 3, and this is piece 2. All right, so it's going to be the same 3 pieces. It's going to be 30, 31, and 32, but this time they're hooking into piece 2, which is just this. It's just the same piece, really. All right, so let's advance this to 8. All right, well, let's grab this piece. Wow, I feel like this project is always throwing curveballs at us. So now we get no instructions. It's actually the second day in a row we're totally flying solo. The wooden puzzle yesterday was similar in that sense. All right, so should this be like a mirror image? Yeah, I think it should. All right, so I'm going to set it like that, and that's going to kind of be the way to remind myself. But really, it doesn't matter because the way it's going to hook in, all you need to remember is that the 30 goes on top, and the rest is like automatic. One thing we're going to do is we're going to put the 3 pieces together first and then pop them in. Okay. So yeah, like this it goes, right? And then this one goes on here. So there we go. And then we're just gonna set this up, like mirror image of the other one. So let's see here. There we go. All right, so far so good. Now, since we don't have instructions, what do you think we're looking at here? Are these like 2 sides of the car? Or is this the engine block? I think it's going to be 2 sides of the car. And how far away will those sides be from each other? You can tell because a lot of these pieces show the width of the car. Like that's probably the front and back bumper or something like that. Where's the hood? This is the trunk. Where's the hood hiding? I just think that I haven't seen the hood yet because there's stripes down the middle. Is that oh, there we go. That's the hood of the car. All right, so this gives you some idea of the size of the car. All right, I guess we'll get to that in a minute. What's next on the instructions? All right. So this is page 1 of the instructions. So we got a photograph of the entire page 1. I don't know how many pages are in the book. So we're going to add 2 pieces on this 3rd panel of instructions. And it's like one piece is going to connect these 2 pieces, and then the other piece, it's basically, I think it's the floor of the whole car. So it's piece 1 and piece 4. So this is piece 1, and this is like the base of the car, I think you would call it. Yeah, that's piece 1. So there you go. There's the front of the car, there's the back of the car, there's the width of the car. There's a lot of information there. And there's a lot of hook-ins, inlets, whatever you want to call them. There's a lot going on there. It looks to be fairly symmetric. I'm not sure if it's totally symmetric. I don't want to lose which side is top. Oh, it's obvious, the painted side. Well, actually, you would think that the painted side should be visible. Painted side out is our rule, right? Unless you're going to look into the windows of the car and see the floor. So actually, it's not obvious to me. I think it's painted side up. Because if you look at the instructions in that little like window there, how do I look at that window? You see that window, those instructions there? They look like white. The pieces look white on one side and like gray on the other. I think the gray is the painted side in which case we're going to we're going to put the stuff in like this. And also, if you notice, ooh, did we mess up? Did we do this wrong? If you notice, they have these pieces on the painted side. So we need to pop these out and redo them. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Let's go back to the instructions and see if that's consistent with our new understanding of how these pieces work. Yeah. If gray means painted, then we need to redo these first pieces. I mean, I wouldn't consider that really an error because we didn't have the full instructions to look through, so we were kind of flying blind. So we did what we did, and we figured out it's wrong, and we're going to fix it. I should have probably looked ahead and confirmed that, but whatever. Always takes a while to get a groove, especially when you're working with a new manufacturer, a new puzzle designer that it's your first puzzle from them, kind of like learning. All right, we still need piece 4. It's a little connector piece. There it is. There's 4. All right. So, instructions, what do we do here? I'm still trying to figure out if these go, I think they go in the back. These pieces go at the back end, I think. Let's see. And they go kind of like this. So the paint out and also this construction out. And this slit goes in the front. So let's see there. So like this, right? The only question is, do I put that in first or do I connect with this other piece? Because we need to, oh man, we flaked. Some of the paint flaked off. Here it is. I think we can fix it though. It's just black color. We just draw it with a marker if it even matters. So the connector, first of all, it goes like this and the paint side goes to the back there. All right, so the paint goes this way. So there was a chip there. I don't know if you saw that. It's chipped. I don't think it's a big deal. Oh, sorry. Like this. How do we do this? It doesn't, it's not possible. What they're asking to do is not possible. I want to point something out here. All right, so look at this piece, and then look at the instructions right above it. They show the pins at the top and the slits at the bottom. That's not how this piece works. You understand? They're showing a picture of a piece that doesn't exist. Like, look at this piece I'm holding, and then look at the instructions. The instructions show the holder pins at top and the inlets at bottom. That's a physical impossibility. But what actually concerns me at this point is not like that they did something, that's wrong. Whatever, people make mistakes. What's the problem is I don't know which way to put this piece in. I don't know if those inlets go up or down. My assumption is that they go down. But if I do that, then this piece is going to stick out the top. And that seems wrong. It's like height-wise. So if I have the inlets go down, then the piece sticks out the top. If I make the piece to fit, then the inlets go up. And we have no idea if that's correct or not. So we need to advance in the instructions and see. But I don't know how you're going to do that because we don't have the instructions. I mean, we have kind of like a little bit of page 2. Maybe we can figure it out. No, it doesn't look like we have that angle. So we have to guess what they mean, or we have to look for better instructions. So what do you think? Is it like this or the other way? I think it's like this, frankly, because the way gravity works, you can rest a piece on top of here. If it's going to be holding something down, then that something needs to fit here, and there's not anything there currently. And you don't expect anything to be here. In the front, you expect an engine. In the back, there's nothing here. So I think it goes like this, which, you know, makes the instructions very misleading, but that's what I think. So is that even accurate? I don't know. Let's give it a shot here. See how it looks. It's not quite, the pieces are not quite in. Oh, there's do you see this? Let me just take this off. This little piece here is going to go into there. So we got to get that done. So there's like 3 pieces connecting here. 2 of the pieces are on the big board, and one of them is on this little connector. All right, let's get one end in. Let's get one end solidly in, and then we're going to do the bridge, and then we're going to do the other end. We were so happy with the fiber board a minute ago. Now, not so much. All right. I think that was the one that needed to go in. You probably heard that. That quite went in. All right. Okay. Well, let's get this one, other side on. The funny thing is, neither way I hang that will it be flush. It's either going to stick out the top or it's going to be a little recessed at the bottom. If there was one way that was flush, then I would assume that that would be the correct way, but there isn't. Right, is this lined up? Not quite. Trying to get that little pin lined up at the bottom without this top part popping out. Okay. What is going on here? Oh, I'm destroying the piece. Okay. Yeah, that piece is not going in there. At least not since I destroyed it. All right, let's forget about this for a minute. We're going to do it at the end. As difficult as that may be, it seems to be better than the alternative. Should this be hanging out the back? Did I do this piece the wrong direction? It doesn't show it assembled, but it shows this as being correct. So now we got to get this side on. So let's put this back together. Try to get that little piece in there. That seems to be the most important part, getting this little piece into here. All right, I broke it, but it's in. There's no other way. Wow, that is very broken. The other side went in perfectly. I don't know if you can see that. This side went in perfectly. This side is quite bad. And I think a tire is going to hang on there. Well, it's not going anywhere. The piece is damaged, yes, but I don't think it's going to cause any problems. All right, let's put the bad side through first, since we figure the good side is good. All right, that was bad. Just knocked the whole thing out, and right after I bragged it wasn't going anywhere. So it was going somewhere. It was popping out. Yeah, that is way off. Do I need to cut that to make it fit? Or do I just push it in and hope that it stays in? That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to drive that in with the pliers and hope that it stays rather than becomes loose. Because it's like two things it could do. It could go in there and be solid, or it could flake and become loose. It's not doing either so far. The piece is breaking. The piece at the top was breaking, so that plan failed. All right. I think what I have to try next is to chip out pieces. The pieces that are over the edge, I have to chip them out. So that the rest will go in. All right, let's try again. All right, that looks good. Doesn't look totally good, but good enough, I guess. All right. Okay. There we go. So, what's next? That was like way too long on that last instruction. All right, so now we're on page 2. And our image has gotten much muddier. I can't even make out what these parts are. We're going to have to find them based on how they look, because I can't read the numbers anymore. You think it's the same 3 pieces from before? That like 30, 31, and 32? They kind of look like them based on the shape. Yeah, I think it's the same. You know what's the only problem? We only have 131 left. So if I build this with 30, 31, and 32, and then they ask for another copy of that, I'm out of pieces. And there's another 30, All right. I think I need to find a copy of page 2 of the instructions. Well, there is this little thing which tells us which piece. All right. I need to look for instructions. I think we can't go forward. We got page 1, but I think we can't go further until we get instructions, which is a shame because I was prepared to go long tonight and get something done, but we need instructions. So sometime between tonight and tomorrow, hopefully I find instructions, and hopefully we can do a better job with this, get further. But for tonight, I think we gotta wrap it up just for tonight. So I'll say good night for now, and I will see you tomorrow.